Hey everybody, how are you today? This is Jim Prusak coming at you from the Pain PT, and I want to chat with you today about what I call the path of least resistance or no resistance. And this is sort of a internal mantra I use for um, my own work and things that come up for me is this dropping our resistance to what is, because this path of least resistance means that we're actually starting to open up to things that we normally close down to, or things that we want to oppose or stop, or even try to avoid or get away from. And one of these things in this world is chronic pain, or chronic symptoms, or uncomfortable emotions and feelings, or ruminating, catastrophizing thoughts. All these things are in our minds seen as negative occurrences or experiences. And so we naturally have resistance to them. But the thing about resistance is that it creates blockages in the body. So if we have a symptom or a feeling going on and we resist that, we basically are blocking it from changing or moving or going away. So resistance is like hitting this wall here where it can't get through and we're butting up against something. Now, the path of least resistance or no resistance or dropping a resistance means you take this wall down and what's here can move, it can shift. And what happens internally in the body when you practice this is that literally symptoms start to change and shift. Sometimes they will spike and then they'll go down or they'll move to a new location. Now, that's a really good sign. That means that you're opening to what's happening. You're dropping your resistance. You're embracing what's occurring. And we know the saying, what you resist persists, and quite the opposite is what you embrace, you erase. So we're looking to embrace what's happening in us. And again, I come back to your symptoms, embracing your symptoms, embracing your emotions and feelings, and even embracing your thinking patterns, okay, things that you don't like. So this path of no resistance applies to everything, okay? Anytime you notice in your life when you start resisting internally what's happening, see if you can change that around and start to open to what's happening. Okay, try to drop your resistance, which usually happens in the mind and then happens in the body. Okay, so when we put up resistance, it creates tension, it creates friction, right? Which then creates heat internally. Heat creates symptoms, chemical reactions. So there's actual science behind this. When we look at Ohm's Law, which is a law of physics, I've mentioned that in one of my other videos, electrical current moving through a wire, let's say, an electrical wire, there's resistance in that. And in the resistance, that when you have more resistance, it essentially blocks the flow, right, of electricity. And so we're looking to lower our resistance, which allows the flow to improve. Now we're talking about the flow through your nervous system, the flow through your body. So this sort of path of no resistance is least resistance, dropping your resistance. You've got to do this again from here. You've got to start with an intention or a conscious recognition of you noticing your resistance to things. And people always have resistance to certain things happening. I mean, I certainly do, and I catch myself every day, and that's human nature because we have these unconscious patterns running 24/7 that have been developed from the time we were born or even before that up until now, shaped by our experiences. So this is running all the time. Now, our job is to recognize that and to step out of that. And when we do, when we drop our resistance and we start to experience and feel and accept and surrender to and allow things to happen, that's healing. That's healing. That's actually letting things shift and change. So, this is the easiest path, the path of no resistance. Okay, so you've got to start coming first from the precept or premise or understanding that what's happening in you is okay. If you're not coming from that first sort of belief that what's happening is not dangerous in you, it's hard to practice no resistance and acceptance. It's hard to drop your resistance. Okay, so you first got to really understand and believe and know that what's occurring in you is okay and that you can let that happen. With practice, and when I work with my patients and even with myself, it gets easier. It gets easier to drop your resistance and start to feel uncomfortable things because you know that's the way out. You know that's the way to healing, and you know that's how stuff starts to shift. So when we drop this wall, things start to go through it and they start to dissipate. It's actually the easiest path. You don't have to do anything else except day after day, moment after moment, see if you can drop your resistance. I call this no resistance. You can have a little mantra in your mind. I don't resist this. No resistance. I embrace this. Okay, so the path of no resistance is the path out. It is the path out. And again, what that means is you have to be open to experiencing whatever your body gives you and be okay with that. And if you can do that and continually come back to that, you'll be free. You'll be free of this stuff. And when it comes again, you catch a resistance, you drop it, you will notice whatever's happening will shift and change. Period. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to look into it and overthink it because that's just adding more of the same. Okay, so you want to step out of that as quickly as you can. Hopefully this is helpful. This is sort of a deeper work and it's actually a shortcut to getting to the finish line. So instead of going full circle, you cut across the circle. Okay, we talked about that in one of my other videos about radical acceptance. This is the same thing. It's just a way of looking at it from the other side of acceptance is resistance. So when we drop our resistance, we move to acceptance. So both these pieces are important. You can look at them from either way, acceptance, resistance. All right, resistance is also fight or flight. We're moving out of that to acceptance, which is parasympathetic, rest and digest nervous system. Thanks, everybody. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.